If you're interested in finding out who your soulmate is, keep watching. Hello Crow Coven and welcome back to our channel. If you're new, I'm Nyx with Crowmate's Apothecary, and in today's video we are going to find out who your soulmate is. So getting into the introduction of the cards, we have on the far left side this raw crystal quartz that's representing group number 1. We have bloodstone representing group number 2, black tourmaline representing group number 3, and lastly, we have yellow aventurine representing group number 4. And if you need a moment to pause the video in order to meditate on the cards that I have set up before you, feel free to do that. And when you've made a decision, head on down to the description box below and then click on the timestamp that corresponds with the group that you chose. Also, a quick reminder that if you like this video, of course, remember to like, hit subscribe to join the Crow Coven, and also leave a comment to let me know if this resonates with you or if you have any other ideas for tarot pick-a-card readings that you'd like to see in the future. And now, without further ado, let's head into your reading. Hello group number 1 and welcome to your reading. So in today's video, we are going to find out exactly who your soulmate is, whether that's someone that you're with currently or perhaps somebody that's been in your life for a long time and you've just never really thought about that, or maybe even someone new that you may meet in the future. So first off, you guys chose this crystal quartz to represent you guys. I'm just going to show it off again. So in this crystal, this really helps to amplify things, and it can help when it comes to things needing sort of manifestation, or if you need to have a clear-cut path shown to you, that can really help you on that sort of journey. But before we get into the cards, I'm of course going to roll this astro dice. We're going to see if we can pull either your zodiac sign or perhaps their zodiac sign, or even if we see it as possibly like the season that you may meet them. So if you're going with like a Gemini kind of thing, it could be that you maybe met them in May or June kind of thing. So let's go ahead and roll this for you. The first one we have coming out is Scorpio. Next we have Sagittarius. And lastly we have Libra. And I'll go ahead and set that aside. And then I'm also going to pull a couple of tiles for initials. So let's go ahead and get 4. So this could either be your initials or theirs, to either indicate that this is the correct group for you and who you may be meeting. Okay. So the first one we are seeing, obviously, here is A. Then we have V. Then we have R. And lastly, we have P. So I will put these over here. All right, and now let's go ahead and get into the cards. So I hope you've been having an amazing week, group number 1. Let's tap into your energy. Spirit, can we please get information on group 1's soulmate? Firstly, we are seeing the snail and huckleberry, and this says trust in the invisible. So this is kind of a vibe of making sure that you aren't trying to put too much pressure on yourself when it comes to finding your soulmate. It gives off this feeling of you are going to honestly find them when you're not looking for them kind of thing. It gives off that feeling of this will come to you when it's time. Seeing the snail, it's kind of that feeling of it's slow going, but there's still progress being made on it. So try to just honestly trust in the fact that Spirit has you, the universe has you, whatever higher power that you believe in has you and is going to point you in the right direction towards your person. Can we get some info on group 1's person, their soulmate, and possibly their characteristics? Firstly, we have the Frog and Lotus with Metamorphosis. So this card coming out gives me this feeling that there will be some intense change that is either going to come about because you have decided to take on this change, or perhaps your soulmate needs to go through a change. They have to go through some sort of leveling up before they are able to really connect with you on the level that you want and need and deserve, honestly. It could possibly be that this is a change of someone that you've known suddenly has grown and matured, and so they are changing into the person that you need in your life. That is kind of a very distinct message that I'm feeling. So if other things have kind of pointed this out, whether initials or even the zodiac, and you've got somebody in mind, it could possibly be this person. This card just slipped out. We have the Crow and Dogwood with intelligence. So this person is extremely smart. They could be seen perhaps as very cunning, because crows are seen as cunning creatures. I'd like to say also resourceful. So they're somebody who knows when to kind of pivot when it comes to certain situations, or if they see that something isn't working for them, they will go ahead and change things up. They don't mind change. They will change things up in order to make it work for them. Can we get one last one, Spirit? We also have the Bobcat and Blackthorn with patience. So this could be either, this could indicate a trait that they have, but could also talk a little bit more to the trusting in the invisible and knowing that things will come in due time. So that may be something that you have to keep in mind during this journey of finding your soulmate, is that very much that this could be a long journey. But of course, you know, we all want to make sure that we have this sort of love and pure like connection with someone, and if that isn't right in the moment, you don't want to push it, because I can tell you with honesty that the partnership that I'm in with now, the other half of Crowmates Apothecary, if we had dated when I was younger and hadn't learned the lessons that I learned, I would have driven them crazy, and we probably would not have been together as long as we have. We've been together for 10 years because there were lessons that both of us needed to learn in order to really be able to come together. And so that's kind of the same feeling that I'm getting, is that I really am getting the vibe that you already know this person, and they're someone who maybe you've thought about them before, like you've been interested in them before, whether it's a lustful thing or perhaps you just think that you guys vibe really well, but there's something there that is holding you back. And whether that's you like subconsciously knowing that there's something going on that they need to change, or if there's just some lesson that either one of you need to learn before you can come into union with one another, that's the vibe that I'm getting. But I am getting that this person is, I don't think they're afraid of change. I think they like to face it head on. I think they like obstacles to where they can work things out. They can kind of play around within this confine that they have, and they're able to puzzle their way through it, and they enjoy that. You need a lot of patience to do that as well. So I think this is somebody who could come across as fairly like calm and compassionate when it comes to relationships and people in general, just because they know how to present themselves to people, to friends and whatnot, in a way that is very like integral to themselves, and they don't like to compromise that integrity kind of thing. Let's go ahead and pull a few tarot cards now to see if we can get any further messages. So for group one, soulmate, can we get some messages about them? Can we get something to point us toward them? Any other further information? We have the Queen of Wands in the reverse position. And so with this being a queen, this could very much be somebody who who is either like female bodied or more of a feminine sort of person. But the vibe that I'm getting with it being in reversed is that they aren't quite to the level that they want to be. Normally when the Queen of Wands is upright, this is somebody who's very warm, very positive. They're very determined in their actions. They are somebody who very much likes to forge ahead and use their intelligence to work through things. But because it's in reversed, we are seeing somebody who maybe either be a little bit more demanding or aggressive right now. And that might be the thing that needs to change. Maybe that's something that is really holding them back right now. Pull a few more, Spirit. We have Ace of Pentacles coming out. So this is showing this feeling of a new opportunity. Some of this, this can talk about finances. This can talk about being prosperous and whatnot, but it also gives off that feeling of being, because it's an ace, it is a newness. It is something that you can come into though. And this also talks about manifestation. So I think there's something going on that is really trying to manifest this person to you in the exact way that they need to be for you at this time. Lastly, we have the Nine of Pentacles as well. So this could be somebody who maybe they are really, really good with their finances. Maybe they are working toward that, and that's something that will give them some more stability in their life. The Nine of Pentacles talks about somebody who is very self-sufficient, and they are actually able to live kind of this life of luxury because they've put in the work and they've been able to get themselves to that point. So your soulmate may have a bit of cash, is what I'm saying, basically. So this is one of those things, though, where it does feel like they also are very grateful for what they have. They don't seem out of touch. Like, they understand life is hard. They understand that money is something that is needed, but they don't flaunt it. They don't feel like somebody who's just trying to like flex on other people kind of thing. So they do seem like they're very grounded in that mindset, and they understand exactly what it means when since they have the money and everything, they understand not to be, again, like flaunting it around. So let me pull a few more cards for you, group one. We have Night coming through. So this may be somebody who is a little bit of a night owl. Perhaps you met or will meet this person at night. Maybe you guys chat a lot at night, again, because I do feel like this is somebody that you have known for some time. They could also be going through a night phase. So they could be, along with this Queen of Wands reverse, they could be going through kind of this almost dark patch in their life right now, and they're just trying to figure things out before they feel like they're very ready for a relationship. Next, we have Risk coming out. So this could be a situation where either you think it may be risky to try and pursue them, or they may think it's a risk right now because they know themselves right now that they might not be at that point. And that isn't to say that they don't want to, though. It just seems as if right now they're kind of at a point where they just can't see that as being a thing that they could juggle. But lastly, we have Release coming out. So there's some sort of need for either them or you to release something, and then I feel like you guys will be able to come into union. So don't beat yourself up too much. Go ahead and have that patience, trust in what you believe in to lead you into the right direction, and just know that they will come to you in time. This could also potentially be someone who you are currently seeing, and with that, it could be that there's something under the surface that they are needing to work through in order to really show up more for you. Of course, they would still be your soulmate, you're still together kind of thing. But I think in order to deepen your bond, there's something going on underneath a lot of like mental sort of anguish kind of thing that's going on that they need to work through in order for you guys to feel way more connected to one another and have it really feel like that soulmate connection. So thank you guys so much for getting to the end of your reading. I know it's a little bit of a short one today, but if you liked this reading or it resonated with you, remember to leave a like, comment to let me know if this sounds similar to any sort of situation that you're currently in, and also hit the subscribe button in order to join the Crow Coven so you don't miss videos just like this one. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So in today's video, we are going to be discussing who your soulmate is. But before we get into the tarot, I'm going to, of course, roll this astro dice. So we're going to see if we can pull either your zodiac sign or perhaps theirs, you guys' sun, moon, or rising, or even perhaps when you may meet this person. So say you got Gemini, it could be that you have met them in either May or June. So let's go ahead and roll this. So the first one we have coming out is Scorpio. Next we have Scorpio again, so a very important sign to watch out for. And lastly, we have Leo. So it could possibly be that you meet this person in Scorpio season as well. So just keep that in mind. And you guys chose this bloodstone in order to represent yourselves today. So I'm going to go ahead and show that off. And lastly, actually, before we get into the cards, I do want to pull some tiles in order to see if we can pull out either your initials or theirs to help point you in the right direction. So we've got 2 there and 2 here. And so the first one we have is N. Then we have Q. Next we have H. And lastly we have I. Place that up here. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the cards for today. So I hope you guys have been having an amazing week, group 2. Let's go ahead and tap into group 2's energy. Spirit, can we please find out who group 2's soulmate is? Can we get any information regarding them? Firstly, we are seeing the Weasel and Pine with introspection. So this can talk about somebody who is maybe a little bit introverted, or maybe somebody who, they don't even necessarily have to be introverted, but they could just simply be somebody who has a very clear, read on themselves. Like they have done plenty of in-depth work within themselves. They're very self-aware. That kind of person is the feeling that I'm getting. There could be some introspection though that needs to be done on your part when it comes to who you are looking at as well. It may be a situation where you've known this person and maybe you've been friends with this person for a long time, but you just haven't really considered if this could be a soulmate connection with this person. And so Spirit is trying to call to you and let you know that this is a time for you to kind of sit within yourself and see exactly who it is that makes you feel good and who has always sort of been there for you. So let's go ahead and keep shuffling. Let's get some more information for group 2's person. Ooh, this is so cute. We have the Wolf and Rosehip with guardianship. So this is somebody who will go to bat for you, whether this is somebody that you know right now or not. It feels like this is somebody who wants to protect you. They're going to feel very protective of you. They're going to not be afraid to stand up for you, kind of thing. And it will definitely make you feel safe when you are around this person. Like, you know that no matter what happens, they're going to take care of you. Next, we have the Elk and Ash with strength. So this is somebody who could be very physically fit. With these antlers here as well, it does give me this feeling that they also have a lot of mental strength too. They have this sort of fortitude within them, because I'm just so drawn to them in this card, that it really gives this feeling of them being very well-rounded. This person has lived a life and they understand kind of how their life works, and they are ready to take on and take care of another person as well. So that can be extremely helpful when narrowing it down, I'd say. Lastly, we have the skunk and magnolia with protection. So again, another thing indicating protection. This is somebody who's really, they have either been somebody in your life who is very protective of you, or when they come into your life, you're going to be able to recognize them because of how much they want to provide for you, and they want to make you feel safe within you guys' union. So I wouldn't get to the point where it feels smothering, but it just feels like you maybe haven't had this in a long time, like you maybe haven't felt safe before, and something could have happened to you that made you feel unsafe with people before, and this person is going to kind of like blow that out of the water. They're going to know the things to say to make you feel calm. You're going to like open up to them and let them know your story, and because of that, they're going to feel as if they are kind of your guardian when it comes to that sort of thing. So that is definitely a very clear indicator of who you may be meeting, or someone who may be in your life right now who could be your soulmate. So let's go ahead and get into tarot. I want to see if we can pull any other information about this person. For group 2 soulmate, can we get any other information, please? The first one we have coming out is the 2 of Swords in the reverse position. So this means that there is a feeling of indecision, and there could be a lot of confusion that is coming through with this. This may be a situation where you're trying to figure out exactly who this person is, and it's hard for you to make this decision because the 2 of Swords upright is, yes, there is indecision and there's like kind of blocked, but there is choices. There's a choice to make. Whereas when it's reversed, it feels almost a little bit like you have just like too much going on. There's too much happening in either your life or their life right now for you guys to come into union right now. So there's some sort of block that's happening within both of your lives, it feels like. The fact that it's a 2 really gives me that feeling that one is for you and one is for them, and you guys need to cross paths, but there's just something kind of holding you guys back. We have the 10 of Wands in the reverse position, and this takes on, this is a card that really talks about taking on way too much, and it could just be that there's like so much going on right now that is really distracting you or them. So they could be like just completely involved in just work kind of thing, and because they're completely involved with work, they can't, you know, like go and actually meet you if you guys haven't met before. Or they could be you could be going through just so much right now that you don't even feel like you want to like meet somebody. Like, of course we all want to meet somebody and like feel protected and everything, but it could be that you're like just tapped out. There's just so much happening in your life right now, and it's making you just feel so like out of it. Lastly, we have the King of Pentacles that came out, and this is like a little bit more of a positive sign here, and it does kind of harken back to these cards as well. This gives off masculine energy. I was gonna say with the cards up here, it gives us off very masculine energy. This person doesn't necessarily have to be a male, but it could just be somebody who has that sort of energy. But this does talk about having security, being in control of themselves, having an abundance, and that sort of power and discipline as well. So this is something to look out for. I'm getting the feeling that this is an older person as well, because they are somebody who is very self-aware. I feel like they've lived, they really know kind of what they want now, and so they aren't running around and trying to play games. They feel like somebody who's very grounded, and they seem like somebody who almost wants to like settle down and like have a family kind of thing. They give off this feeling of somebody who wants to finally be with their person and again just not mess around kind of thing. Let's go ahead and pull a few more cards for you. I do think though that there's something stopping you guys from getting together quickly, so just be very patient during this time. Again, we saw Scorpio come up twice, so hopefully that could be this Scorpio season. You may be meeting them. Nextly, we have this card here with trickery. So there's something, there's something going on is what I'm feeling like, that's really stopping this connection. But it's funny that I was saying that this is somebody that doesn't want to play around, and then we saw trickery. So this coming up always gives me the feeling of like harming sort of pranks. So this person could have a side where they have a little bit more of a jokester kind of side to them. They know how to make you laugh. They know how to have a good time as well. They're not completely like stoic and like they don't know how to have fun kind of person. But when I first saw the card, it really felt like there's something that's keeping you, and it almost feels like a joke. Like it almost feels like, of course that would happen. Like wrong place, wrong time kind of situation where maybe you know this person and you're sitting there going like, oh yeah, like things keep getting in the way. Things keep happening where it's like they'll be in a relationship while you're single, and then you're in a relationship while they're single kind of thing. And it just feels like a joke, because it's literally like, okay, like, why aren't we aligning with this? Like, what has been keeping us from being able to get together? It kind of feels like that more than anything malicious. Next, we have abundance coming out. So this is somebody who can do very well for themselves, and they also like to share that abundance. With there being the multiple crows, gives off this vibe of them not being stingy when it comes to wanting to help other people in their community or friends, things like that. But yes, abundance, they do have the ability to take care of you when it comes to finances, especially also combined with that King of Pentacles. They're somebody who has a handle on that, I would say. And lastly, we have growth. This is a beautiful card. So this may talk about a need for them to grow a little bit more, or may be that there needs to be some sort of growth within both of you to bring yourselves together kind of thing. There's this feeling almost of you both need to up a level just a little bit more before you're able to cross paths, before you're able to work through this sort of like tension and finally come to union with one another. So anyway, overall, it sounds like you guys are going to have an amazing union. Just keep on the lookout for people who are very protective over you and who seem to be extremely either physically or mentally strong, and people who know themselves deeply. And don't get too wrapped up or distracted when it comes to information about this person. Just sort of try to go with the flow, and you will end up having an amazing relationship with this person. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching to the end of your reading. I know this was a short one this week, but I want to also remind you to leave a like, comment if this resonates with you, and then of course subscribe to join the Crow Coven so you don't miss videos like this one. And I will see you guys in the next one. Hello group number 3 and welcome to your reading. So in today's video, we're going to look into who your soulmate is and when you may meet them and any other characteristics that we may be able to find out about them. So you guys chose this black tourmaline to represent yourselves today. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side after showing it off just a second. And with the black tourmaline, one thing I really wanted to point out is the fact that it can really help to filter out any sort of negativity, or if there is anything going on in your life that needs that sort of purification power of black tourmaline, that is going to help during this time. So this may be something to help indicate breaking past, if you've had past like abusive relationships or toxic relationships, this is going to help filter all of that out in order to bring in your soulmate, that proper person for you who's going to treat you right. I got hit with that message and I really wanted to share it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to roll this astro dice to see if we can pull either your zodiac sign, theirs, you guys' sun, moon, or rising, or even perhaps the season that you may meet this person. So say that you ended up getting Gemini, it may be that you met them in May or June. So let's go ahead and get started. Roll this a few times. The first one coming out is Scorpio, and I giggled a little bit at that because literally each group so far has had Scorpio come out as the first one. So there's been a lot of passionate Scorpio energy that's been coming through. Next we have is Cancer. And lastly, we have Leo. So I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. And then lastly, I'm going to pull some tiles to represent you guys' initials. So we're going to see if you can find either your initials in here to make sure you're on the right group, or perhaps their initials. Okay. So the tiles that I pulled are H, we see Y, we have K, and lastly we have B. So let's set those up there. Let's go ahead and get into the cards. So I hope you guys have had an amazing week, group 3. Let's tap into you guys' energy. Spirit, can we please get information on group 3's soulmate? Ooh, there's 2 coming out at once. So the first one we have is the sheep and blackberry with devotion. So this is somebody who will be very devoted to you when you guys meet one another. They will devote a lot of time to you. They're going to put in the effort that is needed in order to make this relationship work. Or even perhaps if it's somebody that you already know, it's somebody who as a friend, they've always been very devoted to you. They've always tried to be there for you and be kind of like the shoulder to cry on, or the person who is there to give you advice, things like that. But they do seem like they are very much someone who is going to be, they're like a one and only kind of person. So this soulmate connection is someone who really wants to make you feel like you're the only person in the world, and they very much enjoy being in that position. Next, we have the rooster and sunflower with communication. So they are somebody who can either communicate very well, perhaps they're very eloquent when they speak to you, or they're just simply somebody who understands that communication is key in relationships, and that this is something that they are willing to have this open avenue with when it comes to you and your relationship. They are not afraid to possibly speak their mind when it comes to things. They give off this feeling of someone who, roosters are very proud, so they could be a very proud person, but they also, I don't think, are somebody who has like a big ego. You know, they don't feel like it's not like above them kind of thing. That sort of vibe is that they don't see themselves as above other people. Next we have the possum and peony with bashfulness. And in this card, that's just so cute, is like obviously the bashfulness. They could be, while they may be somebody who is communicative and maybe very proud, is that maybe they do it in a shy way though. So that's very, very cute. They could be somebody who may be afraid to open up to you and let you know exactly how they feel about you. So maybe they're not the person to make the first move. That could possibly be in something that is going to have to be kind of in your court almost to broach past this, so you guys are able to connect with one another. And lastly, we have the duck and chrysanthemum with luck. So either they could be a very lucky person, or the feeling that I initially got when I saw that card is that it's going to feel very much like you guys are just like so lucky having met one another, kind of thing. It's like it's going to feel just so good that you were able to meet under like all these circumstances, and despite there being so many people in the world, you happen to like fall into each other's lives, kind of feeling. That's the vibe that I'm getting from that card. So it could be that if you haven't met this person yet, it is going to be by luck that you guys meet one another. So the circumstances of how you meet may be a little bit odd, and you may be like, wow, if my plane didn't get delayed, I wouldn't have like, you know, ended up having to wander the airport and then happen to bump into somebody who, you know, that we made this connection, and then suddenly we a year later are traveling together and we're engaged, like, you know, stuff like that. It's gonna feel like wild when you look back on it, kind of thing. Is that there's going to be some circumstance that, whether it is a good situation or a bad one, whether it's a like delay of an airplane, or if it's a good situation such as being like, oh, you won a trip to some place or something, there's going to be something going on that is going to be really out of the ordinary, that because it came to your life in that way, you guys are able to meet. Let's go ahead and pull some tarot. Can we please get some more information on group 3 soulmate? Ooh, first card that came out here is the 7 of Wands. And in this card here, this does talk about that there is a chance of needing to kind of be in competition. So this could be that maybe you are competing with another person for this person's affection, or it could be even that you just simply have to overcome some sort of challenge in order to be with this person. It can talk also about perseverance, so not giving up when you are kind of trying to court them, is not trying to like push it aside and just be like, okay, well, it's not really worth it. It's like everything is worth it when you find somebody that is going to be there for you and treat you in such a loving way. They're definitely worth it. So there may just be some obstacles that you have to work through. There was a card that flew out from the deck, so I want to grab that real fast. So we have the 3 of Cups in the reverse position. And when I'm seeing this card, this does talk about that there is the potential of either an affair happening, or even that there is another person involved. So it connected with this 7 of Wands. This is kind of almost giving me the feeling that maybe they're in a relationship with another person, and you were like the third wheel on the outside, like looking in and being like, man, I wish I could date them, but you know, I'm single and they're together with somebody, kind of thing. And it feels, the reverse could also be true, but that was the first feeling that I got. And you're just sort of sitting there being like, you know what, we would be great together. But obviously you're not going to do anything to kind of like impede on their current relationship. So that may be something that's going on right now. It doesn't even necessarily need to be that they're like in a committed relationship. It could just be that you know about somebody else who has a crush on this person, and so that's kind of causing this sort of competition. So this may be what's going on, is there's some situation where another person is involved right now, and that may be why you guys haven't been able to come into union with one another is because, yes, there's some other person involved in this situation as of right now. We also have the Page of Cups in the reverse position, and this talks about that there is some sort of emotional like immaturity that's going on someone's part. There could be some sort of pettiness that is happening, or someone isn't making a decision. So kind of one of the first things that hit me was like, it could be like, while this person would be really good for you, they don't see that right now, right? And they have like two people that are interested in them, and they're like, you know what, this feels kind of nice having two people like be into me. I don't know like what to do or like how to act, kind of thing. And they may come across as being a little bit more I don't think it's like a sneaky or like malicious thing. I think it's just that they aren't sure how to navigate it right now. And so that is kind of making you feel a little bit like, come on now, come on. And if this is somebody that you haven't met and this isn't a situation that you're in currently, it may end up being kind of like you're able to see into the future, into what's happening. There may be some other person that's involved. So even if you meet this person by luck in an airport, just bumping into them, they may at home have a girlfriend or somebody who's interested in them, kind of thing. And you don't realize that when you first meet them, and you have to kind of navigate that. So just keep that in mind, that there will be another person involved in this situation, but I do think that you guys will be able to realize that you are the ones to be together, and it's just going to take time. Next, we have dominance coming out. So this could be somebody who could either feel very dominant or could feel very much like they have control over the situation in general. So even if they don't come across as dominant whatsoever, they could simply be like, the ball is in their court and they have to kind of make the decision, is the vibe that I'm getting from that card. Next, we have caching. And so in this card here is this feeling of, yeah, they're not trying to put their eggs all in one basket right now. So there's kind of these multiple things pointing toward this person, like the crow is putting away seeds for later, kind of thing. So it could be that they're planting these seeds of perhaps like love interest within you and another person, because they just haven't been able to make a decision yet. And lastly, we have survival. So it could be because they need to survive in this certain point in their life. My very first thought was perhaps they're with somebody because they financially could not live on their own without this person, and maybe they're like, it's a roommate that they've been dating or something like that, where it feels almost as if like they wouldn't be able to make it on their own without this person's help. And so this is kind of like what they're doing for right now. They're just needing to do it in order to kind of survive and like move through it. It can also be somebody who has very good survival instincts, so they are very much prepared for anything. Again, combined with caching, that really makes a lot of sense too, is that they know when to invest in certain things in order to prosper down the line. So it could be not even necessarily about putting in energy into two different people, but maybe they know where to place their money, kind of thing, and they know how to protect themselves for the future. So just be on the lookout for all of these things. It does sound like there's something that you guys are going to need to work through that may involve another person, but in the end, I do believe that you guys will be able to find out that you are the ones that need to come into union and are going to be perfect for one another. There's just a little bit of running around that needs to happen before you guys get to that point. So thank you guys so much for getting to the end of your reading. If you liked the reading or it resonates with you, of course, leave a like, hit the subscribe button to join the Crow Coven, and leave me a comment down below if this does resonate or if you feel like this is a situation that you are currently in. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So in today's video, we are going to find out exactly who your soulmate is and when you may meet them, or if there's any sort of situation that's going on that you need to work through in order to come into union. So before we get into the tarot, I do want to set this aside. I'm going to go ahead and roll this astro dice to see if we could pull out your sun, moon, or rising, perhaps their zodiac sign, or even perhaps when you may meet this person. So say you end up getting Gemini, then you may have met this person in May or June kind of vibe. So let's go ahead and roll this a few times. So the first one we are seeing coming out is Sagittarius. Next we have Taurus. And lastly, we have Libra. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside. And then the other thing I wanted to do before we get into the cards is I want to pull some of these tiles to see if we can pull out either your initials or perhaps their initials. So let's go ahead and get these. Okay, the first one we are seeing is F. Next we have E. Next we have Z. And lastly, we have A. So go ahead and set those up there. And for you guys today, you were represented by this yellow aventurine. Look how beautiful and glossy this gemstone is. This one really gives off this really beautiful and affectionate sort of vibe with how bright and colorful it is. It's obviously a very positive feeling gemstone as well. So those may be traits as well of your future partner. So let's go ahead and get into this. Hope you had an amazing week, Group 4. Spirit, can we tap into Group 4's energy? And can we find out information about Group 4's soulmate? The first card we're seeing is the Ram in Dahlia with determination. So this is somebody who, when they set their mind to something, they go for it. They know exactly what they need to do in order to reach this goal. They're not afraid of setting goals and heading towards that sort of goal post as well. They feel like somebody who, they could have some dominant energy as well with that determination, that sort of headstrong sort of vibe. Next, we have the Rooster and Sunflower coming out with communication. So they're also not afraid to speak their mind. So this could be somebody who is very prideful. I always see roosters as being very proud animals. They are very loud. So perhaps this person has a louder sort of voice to them. And they're like not afraid to stand out is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Next, we have... the Cat in Lavender with independence. So they could be somebody that likes to stand on their own when it comes to just living their life. Maybe they don't necessarily need to be in a relationship in order to feel fulfilled. They could potentially be somebody who maybe they've been single for a long time and it's just because they haven't met the right person and they're like, I don't see the point in dating if like I have my stuff together, I don't see the point kind of thing. So this could be somebody that you may know who has sort of lived this lifestyle for a little while and you can tell that they're fine just on their own kind of thing. And lastly, we have the Snail and Huckleberry with Trust in the Invisible. So there's something that's going to bring you guys together, and just know that it will take time. There is patience that is going to be needed in order to make this union happen, if that's something that you're interested in. Of course, when it comes to soulmates, like, you don't necessarily have to like be married to your soulmate kind of thing if that's something that you're not interested in. Perhaps you're also a very independent person, but you also don't mind that deeper sort of connection. So this could be a situation where maybe you both are sort of standoffish when it comes to relationships, and you'd like to have something, but you just aren't sure what it is. But for a lot of people, it's going to be that you're seeing somebody who's very independent and you just like want to break through that and you're just not sure how. And you're like, yeah, I know that this person is like who I want. They give off such like just like almost mature energy, and it just feels like you are like, yes, exactly the type of person that I want in my life, and you're just not sure on how to get there. So just know that you're being pointed in the right direction, and there are things that are going to be happening that will end up bringing you guys together if that's something that you both want. Let's go ahead and shuffle these cards here, pull some tarot. Can we get information on group 4's person or the situation, how they'll come together, obstacles, anything like that? The first card we're seeing is the Page of Cups in the reverse position, and this talks about some level of like emotional immaturity. So this could be either you or them needing to learn a lesson before you guys can come together and be able to be in a union with one another. It could be that there is this feeling almost of like something is blocked, like there's something going on. It could be like your emotions are blocked or their emotions are blocked when it comes to wanting to actually express them, and with them being very independent person, it could be that they haven't ever had to open up and share that they are interested in someone, and because of that there is that sort of disconnect with this communication here. And so maybe it's something that frustrates them, and that's why they are having a hard time, especially if it's somebody that, you know, it could be that they are just having a hard time in being able to open up because, again, they just haven't really done it before, or if they have, it's ended in a bad way, and so they haven't tried to make they haven't tried to take another stab at like love and relationships, is the feeling. Next we have Death, though, which is beautiful. It means that there's some sort of ending and beginning happening. There's some sort of change that's coming about with this, though. And this feeling of knowing that they can go through this sort of transformation, they can go through this transitional period in order to bring something about. So there's something fundamental about either your life or their life that has to change before you guys come together. So if this is somebody that you've known and you've had, maybe you've even had like an off and on relationship before, is like the vibe that I have for some of you, is like it could just be that you guys weren't working out and you had to break up, and there's something that you guys both know that needs to change, and until that happens you guys won't be able to come back. Alternatively, there could be something going on in your life that you just simply have not dealt with, and until you deal with whatever this is, you won't be able to get to this point with this person, kind of thing. So I feel like there's just something, I mean, that could say the same to them as well, but I'm feeling it from you, is I feel like there's something going on with you that you have to examine and work through. I feel like, not that you can't love somebody and be loved by somebody until you like work through things, but like I do feel like there's just something there that will really help get you to this point with this person. Lastly, we have some more good news with the Fool, and the Fool talks about a like new journey, talks about having this sort of free spirit and seeing things in almost this lens of like innocence kind of thing. And so I feel like if you and them try to go about this in a way where you're more free with your emotions and your feelings, and you're more spontaneous and, again, more innocent, instead of feeling jaded about like love and about the world around you kind of thing, I think you'll see a lot more progress with this person. Let's go ahead and pull a few more for you guys and get more information for group 4. The first card we have coming out is Curiosity. So you could be very, very curious about this person in your life, or this new person that you're going to meet, obviously, or perhaps they even share the same towards you as well. They like to ask a lot of questions. They like to kind of know like what it is that you're doing, what you're going through, kind of thing. they're not afraid to go a little bit more personal, and maybe you're not afraid to go into some more personal questions with this person as well. And they find that to be like pretty attractive. They think it's nice knowing that you want to like learn so much about them. Next we have commitment. So we were talking earlier about possibility that you guys might not care about being committed to one another, but right here it's kind of shattering that, where it's literally saying that there is a want to be in a committed sort of relationship, and that can be whatever way you see it. It could be marriage, it could just be you saying like, hey, you know, it's just me and you, but like I don't want to put a label on it. Or it could just be that you guys have some sort of almost like a situationship going on to where like it works for both of you. And this is so funny because like not the other three groups that I had were not like making the distinction. It was basically like coming to union, like wanting to be just together. But for you guys, I am getting this feeling of, for some of you or somebody involved in this, is they really need to hear that it's okay to have your commitment look different from everybody else's. It doesn't have to be the like, I'm straight up just going to be in a relationship and get married, because that doesn't work for everybody. So yeah, whatever it means to you is going to be the level of commitment that you guys will be able to get to. I just feel like there needs to be something worked on before we reach that point. And lastly, I pulled insight. So yeah, this could be somebody who is very insightful. They do all that they can to really look within themselves in order to process their emotions and feelings and really be able to know more about themselves. And if not, it's something they need to do. And the same thing for you. You could be somebody who's very insightful, or you could be somebody that needs to tap into that and needs to really work and process through things that have happened in your past in order to really be able to come together with this person. Because again, it's right above death. So I think this is a big indicator of when things could change for you, is when you start actually processing and going through this sort of healing journey here with death, needing to go through that transition in order to end whatever bad mindset or heal from whatever past sort of issues in order to have this bright new future, this full moment here, bringing you into this beautiful, like spontaneous new relationship. So anyway, thank you guys so much for getting to the end of your reading. If you liked this reading or it resonates with you, of course, leave a like and go ahead and subscribe to join the Crow Coven, and also leave a comment if this really resonated with you, or if you feel like you know this person, there's something going on, some sort of connection that you understand as this being the right one for you and this person being your soulmate. And also if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see next in a tarot pick a card reading, I'm always open to hearing new suggestions. So thank you guys so much for getting to the end of your reading, and I will see you guys in the next one.